Hey skiers, it's Bob with skiessentials.com. Welcome to our 2024 ski test. We've got an all new ski for you today. This is a Volkl Revolt 114. This thing bridges the gap between the Revolt 104 and the existing huge 121. 114 definitely kind of has its own little personality going on. It's not like some other companies that just kind of make wider and wider versions of the same ski. Revolt line's pretty interesting in that even within their own models, there is some differences. You know, if you think about the 90 with its more competitive background, the 86 is a little bit more light and floaty. The new 96 kind of adopting some of those more modern taper shapes, and then to the 121, which is just huge. This 114 still has its own kind of thing going on, which is pretty admirable coming from Volkl. They don't really do a whole lot of different things in terms of the construction. We're still dealing with a multi-layer wood core consisting of poplar and beech, so they're able to kind of fine-tune the flex and energy of the ski. There is a lot of it though, a little bit thicker of a profile to go along with it, especially through the tail. When we look at some of those other Revolt skis, there's definitely more of that thinning of the profile towards the tips and tails. This one stays pretty darn thick throughout, and that's going to cost you in the weight department. You know, weight does equal stability though, so you got to kind of take the bad with the good. This is the 184, and we're on the scale at 2,325 grams, so definitely not a featherweight ski. This thing is built to charge. Certainly has that athlete inspiration to it from a big mountain perspective. While we're talking about Revolt skis, it's easy to kind of pigeonhole them as freestyle twin tip skis. I'd say that this is arguably the outlier in that category. It does kind of have the same shovel style as the 121, just really wide shovel, lots of taper, really floaty. But then when we look at the tail, things start to change up a little bit. And I like how they did this because we talked about the tail of the 104 for a long time and how that, like the extended taper in that tail, sets it apart from the rest of 104s as well as Revolt. This 114 is going to make a similar argument, really dramatic in the taper. That widest part of the ski starts all the way down here and then basically just angles into a flat tail. Not really that freestyle, you know, inbounds freestyle twin tip that you generally think about with Revolt. There's a lot more of that directional mentality to it. Pretty darn squared off back there. Not a ton of splay, you know, certainly it's like they took the twin tip and then just cut it flat. And what that's going to do is in steeper and more technical terrain, it's going to give you good edge grip throughout the ski. And that makes a lot of sense for what this thing is meant to do, which is just big mountain aggressive skiing. Certainly room for it to be had out in deep powder fields, pillows, anything that you're going to put your own creativity into. We actually had a couple of good days here in Stowe on this ski, and even at its weight and kind of that longer turn shape and turn style, found that it worked really well in our woods here. Especially when we had deeper snow. Right? You know, it wasn't sinking at all. Even in, you know, 8-10 inches of new snow, this thing stayed right on top. Tons of flotation in that shovel, like I said. So really just a smooth ski overall, especially in that softer snow. Didn't get a look at that tip rocker, but you know, there's a little bit of camber underfoot, and then that rocker is pretty long. So that extends all the way down to here. It doesn't like bow out crazy, so keeps that splay to somewhat of a minimum, but definitely more of that directional mentality with this 114 than we see in other Revolt skis. A little bit more businesslike, and I think that's kind of what Volkl was looking for, is this more directional, more, you know, a little bit more different Revolt series ski than what we see in the other more dedicated twin tips and park specific skis. So not a whole lot of park application here, but definitely that creative backcountry influence runs deep with this thing. So make sure you check out this all new Volkl Revolt 114 here at skiessentials.com, and we'll see you out there on the hill. Bye.